thank you for joining us today on The Sparks. I'm Paul Gottsch. Today we've lined up interviews with 5 of the major and most influential people that brought you what radio has become today. Up first, we'll be talking with Guillermo Marconi about his commercial wireless transmission system. Considered by many to be the inventor of radio, his pioneer work into commercial deployment of wireless transmission systems laid the groundwork for what would later become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Later, we'll bring you Reginald Aubrey and a special guest of his to talk about the first recording played on the radio and what it was. All right, let's spark it up. All right. Well, hi, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you coming on today. I'm here today with Guillermo Marconi, and we're going to discuss his contributions to the radio and where it is now. So thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. All right, well, as some people, maybe not enough know, you're kind of a big deal when it comes to the radio. Wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. But I'm going to go ahead and let you kind of speak on that a little bit more. So why don't you tell me, what your contribution was?
Well, really, I was just trying to send radio signals a lot farther than they were able to go in the time era I was in. So really, I had just pioneered on long distance radio signal transmission.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, I have with me today Reginald Aubrey, the man credited with playing the first record on broadcast radio. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, so before you were on the scene, right, wireless transmissions had really only been Morse code, like little audible dots and dashes. You endeavored to go beyond that, though, that simple language, and you actually wanted to put audio on there.
Yeah, Massachusetts. We've been out there for a while. We actually been using the same spark transmitters, but it's more of a high-powered spark transmitter. So now we can transmit audio as well as telegraphs.
Okay, so you can do both of them.
Yeah, so that actually took things to another level, which radio actually started using the standard.
Really? That established one of the first standards.
Yeah.
Reginald, I really want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. Well, here today I have with me William Thomas, the engineer for the first broadcast station. Thanks for joining us, William.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So, the first broadcast station was pivotal in the development of radio as we know it. What was the name of the station?
KDKA. We were out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I can't imagine you were able to do that all on your own. I mean, chief engineer is definitely a very big position, but
yeah. We got a lot of guys from different parts of the world, helping out. But we had John Frazier as our telephone line operator. We had R.S. McLean was a standby. Liam Rosenberg as an announcer.
Okay. Ooh, what did you guys talk about for the first podcast?
Well, that day was crucial. It was the presidential election. James Cox was defeated by Warren Harding.
That was I remember that was a legendary defeat. That was a landslide. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, William.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I'm here today with Scottie Propst, and he's a radio station correspondent that works for RCA, actually, and he's going to tell us a little bit about this kind of controversial tactic used by the radio stations and some of the record companies to influence the amount of plays they get, and subsequently a lot of other things as well. So, thanks for joining us, Scottie.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely. So, I guess it all started back in about 59, like the late 50s and the early 60s, 1960s, and it was just basically all in a nutshell. It was pretty much big time companies just going to these radio stations and just like laying down lots of money just to get airtime or airplay for. Actually, Jamie Records is involved of it. Actually, Jamie Records went down to the studio. Pretty much affected the whole radio industry, the music business. It was just bad for business as an overall, coming from payover. So,
Wow, that's crazy.
In the coming generation Volvo cars, Apple CarPlay is part of your in-car experience, enabling you to fully interact with the features of your iPhone through the user interface of your car. At your command, you can send messages,
Message to Emily. Let's get lunch soon.
access maps in the same environment and manner as you're used to, without being distracted or leaving sight of what is important. Through the clever integration in the center touch screen, you get full overview while you can still interact with both Apple CarPlay and your Volvo simultaneously.
Thank you for joining us today. We've gone over the 5 most important points in radio's timeline. The invention of radio, the first record played, the first broadcast station, media streaming now, and payola in the 50s. These points have led up to what it is today, and for that, we are grateful. Thanks again for joining us on Sparks TV Live. Remember to spark it up.